Well, here's Roxanne Stein.
High blood pressure affects adults and children, and it can be a silent killer. Dr. David Mischel of Boca Raton Regional Hospital joins us this afternoon to answer your questions. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I always hear 120/80 is exactly where you want to be, but is that the range? Is that what it should be, or is there a different range that we can be aware of and still feel comfortable about our blood pressure?
Well, I think most physicians would probably want to perform an intervention if your blood pressure goes as high as 135/85. So that's probably about the cutoff where you have a problem. A higher blood pressure where you really have a problem is when the diastolic number gets up to about 120, 125. Then you might need to seek immediate medical attention.
Let's talk about upper and lower. 120/80 is what and what?
That's a very good question. 120 is called the systolic, that's the number on the top, and 80 is called the diastolic number.
And which is most important?
Well, it can be both. And sometimes as we age, the bottom number is fine, but the top number stays high. Sometimes in younger patients, it's the bottom number that can elevate and be more of the problem.
Now, hypertension doesn't always present with symptoms. So how do you know if you have a problem that you need to have addressed or take medication for?
Hypertension really is the silent killer, and I argue with my patients, unfortunately, all the time about this. They say they have a headache, they feel flushed, and they take their blood pressure, lo and behold, is elevated. I turn it around and I say, your blood pressure is elevated because you're not feeling well. You don't feel unwell because of a high blood pressure.
So what can happen, though, if hypertension is left untreated?
You can develop end organ damage. So the organs that can be affected are the eyes, causing reduced vision, the brain, and it could cause a stroke, the heart, and it can cause thickening or congestive heart failure, and the kidneys, which can lead to dialysis.
Hence the silent killer name for it. Many people who have hypertension do check their blood pressure several times a day. Is that good or bad?
I worry about it because I see often the extremes where people can become quite anxious and neurotic. And the problem with checking your blood pressure all the time is you end up to be a dog chasing the tail. You get a high blood pressure, you run for the cabinet, you take a medication, or your blood pressure is high and you stop. I'd like to see trends. Give me trends over time. Don't take it 5 times a day.
Well, plus I get high blood pressure thinking about taking my blood pressure because I have to take it to check it. So if it's high, there's a problem. So, I mean, the whole thing, I get a mind game going. Is that what people do?
It is. I want to make another couple points, too. When you check your blood pressure, you have to be sitting or resting for 5 or 10 minutes. You have to be relaxed. And you want to get a cuff that's automatic. It goes on your bicep, not the ones that go on your forearm, that go on your finger. Those aren't as accurate.
Oh, good point. Well, now, everybody says that diet and exercise are so important. Is it lack of that can contribute to hypertension as well as age and weight?
You know, there are a lot of things. I'd say 90% of the time hypertension is hereditary, and there's really not much you can do to battle it. Diet and exercise is key, but there are some other factors that can contribute to it.
What about healthy eating?
Healthy eating is important, and you have to lower your sodium intake. You have to watch your caffeine, your alcohol, and the amount of the amount of calories that you take in.
Comes down to basic, decent living, doesn't it, Doctor?
Good lifestyle, good lifestyle.
Always good to have these conversations with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Boca Raton Regional Hospital sponsors our expert as well as underwriting our Ask the Doctor segment. We're back with more in just a moment.